There were some animation projects I wanted to do, but never had the tools to do them. However, for Christmas, I was gifted a new drawing tablet for my family. There was a bit of a learning curve for me, drawing with a tablet and also using Clip Studio Paint, after being a long-time Photoshop artist. With a bit of practice and doodling, I decided that the first project I want to start was a story about Rose Doodle. I was introduced to Rose Doodle's content a couple years ago. The collaboration with Stuffy was the first time I ever saw her. I've seen her many times afterwards on a few of Buff Pup streams. She's a bratty character with the most infectious laugh. Her drawing and her Just Chatting streams were some of the most inspiring streams and brought me closer to her community. It was mid-January 2024, and I started to get ideas together for an animation project. First by writing the rough draft of the script, and on February 13th, the rough storyboard was drawn. It also inspired the type of art style that I wanted to attempt. I wanted to animate in ink and watercolor, sort of a storybook type of illustration. The first few weeks of March, I started to ink in the lines for the animation. I decided to draw the lines in Photoshop and bring into Clip Studio Paint for the watercolor. Each frame was hand-drawn and colored in. What made the process a bit tedious was making the drawings have an animated boil. This was done by nearly redrawing every scene. So with every background, character, and object, I would have to redraw and color those in a second or even a third time, not including animating some of the characters for multiple frames. The drawings were then exported as a PNG and imported into Adobe Animate and finalized in Adobe Premiere. Mid-March, I finished and uploaded the animatic to YouTube. This would help lay the foundation for the upcoming animation, as well as pace animation for music in the future. Only a few people were included in viewing the animatic: the voice actors, music composers, and a few select friends of Rose's. I did ask Rose for voice lines, but I limited the script to only her lines and mixed up the lines so she couldn't work out what the story was about. I wanted to keep Rose in the dark on the project until it was released. Victor, her friend and moderator, knew of the project and was also on board to do some voice work. For music, I asked Funky Swunk if they were interested in making a score for the animation. Funky is a known community member and a friend of Rose. Funky is a professional composer and a music teacher. This also kicked off the fundraiser. Additionally, I asked Judgmental Owl if they were interested in making a quick track for the credit sequence. They made music for Rose in the past, and I thought that this would make a nice addition to include more members from Rose's community. In addition to the ink and watercolor animation, I wanted to film IRL footage. This involved the Rose the Cat book, which meant making the Rose the Cat book a physical object. For the cover, I made a paper stencil, lightly painted over the stencil, and painted a thicker layer of black paint, followed by gold paint. The Rose the Cat book would appear in the first scene and then drastically change into a Rose Doodle book at the end, which has been modified with clay and paint. My last big animation project, Night of the Fiascoing Flop, was animated with pixel art. I wanted to add a section of pixel art in the video and thought that the credits sequence would be a perfect fit. I included a little stop-motion claymation at the very end sequence, because why not make the project as complicated as possible? In total, the project contains drawn animation, clay animation, pixel animation, and IRL footage with arts and crafts. The Rose the Cat animation was completed in May and uploaded to YouTube. The making of the video shortly followed after. I debated on when to release the video, but knew I wanted to release it during one of Rose Doodle's streams, so she can experience the animation live. There are tons of references in the animation, from members of Ichiban to objects of VTuber friends. I do want to say to everyone that helped with this project, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to my family and friends that encouraged me to keep at it. And thank you to Rose Doodle and the VTuban family for their content in some of the best communities out there. Thank you.